Well, gentlemen, let's move on. I think the fun part, or the most a little off topic, but brings us to today. Social media today. We're all from the days of gun magazines. We've gone from gun magazines to the digital age. Just as guilty of that, doing the instructional videos, streaming. But now we have the term social media influencer, YouTuber, whatever I'm not sure the proper acronym or name for it nowadays, but we'll just call them influencers. What do you guys think of this new generation of influencers being the gun guys, the gun instructors?
Scary thought. We have no idea what their backgrounds are, what they've done, where they've been.
Yeah, who are they? You know, who are they?
A lot of these young kids are did some military service. They're fresh out. You know, they may have been overseas, and they may have a body of knowledge that's useful. But a lot of them don't know much about our criminal justice system. And when you start instructing people who are going to be adjudicated by our criminal justice system and everything associated with it, a lot of them don't know much about that. And I find that the military instructors, or purported military instructors, are very aggressive. You know, you got to shoot them and shoot them good and all that. And again, I think that sometimes they have useful information, but a lot of times they're not well rounded. When you're teaching people running a class on defensive shooting, there's a whole bunch of stuff they have to know, some of which involves the operation of the gun. But there's other things they need to know too. On the other hand, that was me 50 years ago. I was this young kid fresh back from Vietnam. I thought I knew something. And then I met Massa Yub, and I found out I didn't know anything. So my good friend Mass has been an enormous help to me and helped me educate me in this field. And so I still look to him to this day.
Well, John has been an inspiration to me and the others in the field. John was the first to really, get the idea of a traveling academy together. Realize it's a whole lot easier to bring one instructor to 30 people than 30 people to one instructor. And it really changed the game, and it made quality training available to a whole lot of people for whom the travel budget was every bit as expensive as the tuition budget. So God bless you, John. All of us in the business ought to light a candle to you every Sunday.
You too, bud.
But now what about the folks that are home? We're all probably guilty of it one way or another. You need to change the oil in your motorcycle. You look at a YouTube video. Mm-hmm. There's a part on your dishwasher, and you don't want to get someone in to fix it, so you go to YouTube, and you watch it on YouTube. And now we have people on YouTube that are legitimate instructors. And then we have, I like to call professional students on YouTube. And then you have people that are just playing with guns on YouTube. But sometimes the person playing with a gun may have 500,000 followers, yet that former Delta operator has 1,000 followers. How do we work this?
Well, one thing to look for is, do like you do if you were taking live training. Check out the instructor. There are some influencers out there who are pretty sharp, very sharp, but choose to use a pseudonym. Hickok 45, for example. The guy's for real, and he gives you good advice. There's also, for the most part, particularly the ones talking about tactical advice, if they give you a pseudonym, you got to wonder why they don't tell you who they are to stand behind their advice. If they give you their name, check it out. Everybody's life is an open book today on the internet. People call we call it resume, attorneys call it CV, curriculum vitae, Latin for the course of your life, because attorneys never speak English when they can speak Latin. And colloquially, people call it a brag sheet. What it should be is a guide for the prospective consumer to check out with the person who wrote the resume, to see if they've been where they've been, to see if they are who they say they are. What we've got today now, also on the internet, is AARs, after action reports, from people who have been to the given classes. Get out there and read those. You'll be able to distinguish pretty much who's a fanboy, currying favor with the instructor so he might get a discount on his next class or something, and who is a hater and just may not even have been to the class that he's reviewing. But basically, it'll give you an idea of what's the curriculum, what did they learn, is the instructor there looking at the class as the audience for his greatness, or are they there literally to get the student up and running and teach them how to do the skill that's being taught? So the bad news with it is that the internet's a mixed bag. The good news is it's easier than ever to check out who the person is, find out if they're valid, and move on from there and take that into consideration. And finally, don't look for personality, look for content. It's kind of like a recent presidential election. Don't look for personality, look for policy and a history of performance.
Good points there. What do you think?
I can't say I disagree with anything that's been said so far. Any commodity out there right now, whether we're looking to buy a new car, air conditioner, washer, dryer, whatever, you can find all kinds of info online. So why is training any different? But there's a million skillion people out there hanging a shingle out saying they're a firearms or tactical trainer right now, and it ties into what I said earlier. We don't know what their reputations are, but if you poke around enough, you're going to find out if this guy has any credibility or not. And that's what I would urge someone to do. In my estimate, there's no substitute for the hands-on stuff, but I recognize that we can't get away and fly out to Gunsite or wherever you choose to go. And unfortunately, this is the sum total of quote, training that some people get, what they see on YouTube or online or what have you. But I would just caution, if that's the case, you better do your research and check out what's going on.
No, that's true. It is true. Why we started Make Ready TV was to put a place together of vetted instructors, because not everyone can go to Gunsite. Not everybody can go spend $650 for a 2-day class from their favorite instructor. A lot of times it's fix the or get a new appliance in the kitchen, or little Johnny needs braces, and you're not going to be able to take that class. Or if you could take that class, can you afford the ammo, the hotel, the plane fare?
Right.
No. So I thought, 15 years ago, let's do it all online, on digital. But the difference was through vetted instructors, guys that we can say, these are the top guys. Dave, what do you think?
I never understood it, still don't understand it. When I started my business, after I couldn't work for the federal government anymore, I expected it not to go. I expected it to die. I was very pleased when it took off like it did. But I knew nothing about Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, didn't know what any of those things were. Fortunately, I had a son and a son-in-law that were very well versed in that kind of stuff. And we started doing YouTube videos. And we would get them, and I would look at them, and we'd get a couple thousand views and all that kind of stuff. And then I looked at other people, and they got 100,000 views or 1 million views. Mm-hmm. And I looked at my son-in-law and I said, "What are we doing wrong?" He says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, we're only getting 6,000 views. This guy's got 1 million. What? He says, "Well, what do you want from your YouTube?" Asses and classes. He said, "Your classes fill up 6 to 8 months in advance. You must be reaching the people that are willing to pay for that."
Yeah.
And that was a real eye-opening experience for me, because I was reaching the right people. So it made me think, does someone who has 1 million views, do they really have 1 million views? Or is it just people who aren't willing to pay for training, so they're trying to get it for free? Or They like the way the guy acts wacky and says dumb stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it still leaves me in a mystery. And I'll close this with the most popular thing I did was called Thoughts from the Deck with Crown Royal.
I remember that.
And all it was I would see something stupid on the internet, and I'd be sitting on my deck, and it was actually iced tea because I filmed them at like 11 in the morning. But, I had to have a thing, and those things got huge viewership.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I stopped them is because this is not what I want to be known for.
Right.
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 I had a reputation that I wanted to uphold, and it wasn't me swilling liquor, yelling at the camera.
But those were good videos.
Well, that's what everybody said, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted to be a purveyor of information, and I wanted it to be serious information, so I stopped it. But all of that left me befuddled about what all of this means. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm really not sure.
John, being our oldest.
Well, I guess I would remind us all that virtually everything we teach right now, 75 years ago, would have been blasphemy.
Yeah.
Burned us already.
Yeah, we would have been burned at the stake. And so we've all been in this business for a long time. We're relying on our background, and here comes a whole new generation of young kids teaching stuff, and some of it, as you say, is just nonsense. But we have to keep our minds open. Maybe they're seeing something we're not. Maybe they're, I've got to get this crust off myself enough to at least listen to them. And what I try to do is look at a lot of them instead of just adhering to one. I go around and listen to a lot of them. I listen to a lot of just utter nonsense. But now and then, someone says something. Oh boy, I hadn't thought about that. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And we have to keep our minds open in that regard. When this art is to advance, as hopefully it's advanced under us, we have to keep our minds open, because I don't think all the good ideas are going to occur to me first. But I take great pride in my ability to steal all the good ones from my esteemed colleagues.
Well, we're passing it on to a new generation.
Yes.
And that's a worthwhile task.
Yes, it is.
It's a worthwhile task.
And it's the one we've chosen, like it or
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
That's our place in history.
If you would look at the four of us sitting here right now and would look at our program, say our basic pistol course, we may teach a manipulation a little bit different here or there, but our content is going to be very similar. And
Yes.
there's something that's said for that. We know, we have a good idea how to do this now and how to do it well and pass it on in a way that it's useful. I hope that next generation of instructor understands that and they embrace it and not come up with something that's different just for the sake of being different. The mag dump we were talking about
Thank you.
earlier.
Amen. Yeah.
That's as the old guy, sitting here on this panel, that's the thing I think that concerns me most, is that they truly understand what this is. Mm-hmm. And it's not just a flashy thing to make money. It's a calling. And we hold people, and God, I'm sounding soapy now, but we hold people's in our hand.
Yes.
People are going to be fighting for their lives with what we teach them. And we can't screw that up.
Right.
Good point. The next part that I want to get to isn't so much a discussion. It's more of a thank you for all of you. As you can see behind us, we have sponsors that have helped support putting this together, because obviously doing stuff like this isn't cheap. And these are all companies that came on board, not just because of relationships with us, more so. Hell, they didn't give a crap about me. All they cared about was you guys. So
We can understand that.
I can too, actually. I really can. I thank you for agreeing with me on that. I expected that from Dave, not from you, you fuck. Let's go ahead, and I'd like to be able to give you guys some stuff. We're going to go from each company, if you don't mind. Here's our version of Vanna White, Bree, my fiance.
I like her better than Vanna.
So do I. And this is from
On the move. Silencer
boot.
Central.
Silencer Central.
Ah, all right.
Company we've been working with, and they keep things nice and quiet. No, you guys did not get cans, so we'll talk.
That's kind of a bummer.
But we did get you shirts.
And this is.
This is from Riton. They do optics,
Oh,
optics.
magnified optics,
Like
and
what kind?
rifle and pistol.
LVPOs? LPVOs?
Yes,
Okay. I'll have to look at those.
I could already tell. This is from our friend Jeff Cahill at Tango Down. This
well, I
is his
sure
brand
hate
new.
AR magazines.
This brand new Gen 3 mags.
That was Tango Down.
Yep. And these are actually my favorite AR mag. I've known Jeff a long time.
Okay.
He just introduced these mags.
The quality of their products are just excellent.
Yes.
This is-
I will say this.
Tango Down, okay.
His magazines, what completely threw me off initially was the fact that you normally look at a body of an AR mag and it's just a solid piece, stamped or whatever, and then
Right.
you have your removable plate at the bottom. But what he did
okay.
here is it looks like a two-part mag.
A
Right.
little grippy.
It's very grippy. It's the way they're constructed. The top part goes into the AR
That's straight.
straight.
Yeah.
Then
And
it
the
has
curve-
the curve.
then the
But
curve
now he's
goes
got
out.
two versions: a flat bottom and a curved bottom for those guys that want to go prone and want to rock up and down. So,
Well, that's a good idea.
my humble opinion, I don't know, but I prefer these over the P mags any day of the week. These are badass.
A dead chicken. I wonder where these came
Duck
from.
of death.
Yeah.
Duck of death.
Okay.
Gunsite sent each of you a shirt and a hat.
Wow, bless their hearts.
They're good people out there.
They really are.
They really
They are.
Kenny Campbell.
If
wonderful.
people ask me where to go, I always tell them, Gunsite. I mean,
You will go
if they
around.
want the gun vacation situation where they want to go someplace.
Every time you tell me where to go, that's not Gunsite.
Well, that's because that's you and not anyone else.
Oh, okay.
They run a training course. I think, places like Front Sight, which is out of business now, was a place for gun enthusiasts. It's people who just want to pull triggers. Gunsite, you're actually going to learn something.
You're going to learn something for sure.
And I think that's an important difference.
And they go out of their way to get the best people.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
And
That apprentice program they make them go through is an interesting exercise.
Well, I remember
and,
we had
Buzz
Pat
Mills is
Rogers,
very active at NRA now, and
Louis
is part of
Arbuck.
the reform movement.
We had so many instructors that came from there.
Oh, a lot of those people came through there.
Yeah.
So the curved bottom is
Yes.
for this when you're using the magazine as a
Correct.
monopod.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
never thought of that.
Yeah, it's actually a very badass setup.
Okay.
I'm good about getting down there. It's getting back
I learned
up.
something.
Back
that
up is a
part.
whole other story. Yes.
You guys are gonna have a whole closet full of clothes.
I guess.
And this is from AMERIGLO, I believe.
AMERIGLO. Oh, that's your old alma
I've
mater.
never heard of them. No.
Here we go.
And this is their T-shirt.
They're a division of Trigicon now.
Oh, they are.
But you got to give Rick Callahan credit. I mean, he took, basically from nothing
Yes.
and made them a major player
Yeah.
in the industry. Enough that Trigicon decided they wanted to acquire him.
Yeah.
Ah,
So,
well,
And it was our good friend at Trigicon, Susan Bellinger, that said, "Hey, we need to get AMERIGLO on board." So
Yeah.
I thank her for thinking of them. Thanks to our friends over at Leupold. You guys are going to be styling and profiling now.
Oh boy.
ooh, the box is enough to get you excited.
oh, what is this?
They're empty boxes.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not.
Guys have some very good eyewear from them.
I didn't know Leupold made this stuff.
Why
Oh,
does
they
it
do.
feel like Christmas morning?
Yeah.
I know all I'm getting at Christmas is
Well, I
sticks
was
and
good.
coal anyway, so
I figured that. That's why we wanted to hook you up now.
Wow.
we have more from Leupold. We want you to see.
You know, I think Leupold's got a future in this industry.
Yes, they do.
They might.
I think
Love
they're
working
going to
with
be
them.
okay.
We just did a documentary on rhinos
Yeah.
in South Africa, and their CEO was there, and he was phenomenal, and their optics are phenomenal.
More Leupold stuff.
Yep. Outerwear.
Oh, good grief. All right.
Well, I've got my 2025 wardrobe all set now.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't have to go to.
Oh
you don't have
boy,
to go
we got some
shopping.
fancy stuff there. Wonderful.
Spyderco. You guys should be familiar with that. Moss.
I've heard of them.
Kind of, sort of heard of them. Yeah.
Thank you. What flavor is this one? Oh, that's very nice.
This looks like, yeah, this is Mike Janik's knife, I think.
Very nice. It's a flat blade.
Here, let me stab you. You can tell me if it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I
That's
say,
the Dave I remember.
if I say owie, it works.
All right, gentlemen, we have more for you.
If I say that ain't funny, then it didn't.
Is this like a thank you for all the years that we did this stuff, or is it a goodbye?
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It can go either way.
Send these guys off in style.
Well,
I
I,
don't see a gold watch anywhere. So
I couldn't get Rolex on board. I'm sorry.
when Fernando and I were talking, I said, well, and we got this November gathering. November gathering. That's a good name for it.
And what else we have here? Our friends at Umarex wanted to make sure you guys had some airsoft
This is some interesting stuff.
and some marker pistols.
Oh, good.
Now, here's the thing.
MP,
This is an
a
airsoft?
One is an
Walther.
airsoft, one is a marker. Now, what's interesting with a marker is it's a paintball gun essentially, but it's not in the traditional sense of a paintball that you would expect. See kids shooting up at the paintball facilities. They're properly sized pistols. And take out the magazine. You see that's where those paintballs go.
But it launches paintballs.
Yeah, it's a training aid. Yeah.
So these are holster capable.
Yes, totally holster capable.
But it doesn't launch.
And one is an airsoft, specifically for the airsoft BBs.
Yeah.
And then when you guys get these sent to you from us,
Yeah.
the folks over at Umarex are going to be sending each of you the ammo for them, the air for them, the CO2,
Okay.
Wow.
everything. So you guys will be all set.
That's wonderful.
That's awful nice of them.
We've done instructional videos already on the use of airsoft, and in all honesty, I see a really good new direction of training that a lot of people should be looking at, because to your point, Dave, you can now actually get a Glock or a Walther or a SIG or whatever it is in an airsoft gun.
Right.
That now goes in your holster. You can put your light on it, do
Right.
whatever you want. Now you're running an airsoft in your home, in your garage, in your backyard. And at the very least, while you're not dealing with recoil and having to manage your recoil, you're still getting all your fundamentals down.
And you're not making a mess.
And you're not making a mess, yes.
Well, there's things
absolutely.
we can do with airsoft or scenario-based training that we can't do any other way.
Correct.
We see, and
So-
that's the thing. Everybody thinks scenario when they think interactive training. There's a lot of things you can do that just reinforce the fundamentals. I'll give you a case in point. In my interactive course, we used to always do popular drills like draw and shoot. How fast can you draw and shoot from the holster? And there'd be a wide range. This guy would be a 1-1, this guy would be a 1-9. Then what we would do with the interactive is we'd do what we called high noon. And we'd have them about 15 feet apart, the fast guy against the slow guy, and you could tell they're like this. And that when they're told to draw, you know who gets shot? Both of them. Because that 3/4 of a second is only a long time on
irrelevant.
that timer.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you can make a lot of good points doing interactive training that isn't necessarily scenarios.
And this is
I
something,
like that. I might steal that from you.
This is something we're going to be doing a lot more of here in the future, because we've done one instructional video on the use of airsoft and saw there's so many more areas you can go with it. Because now you're talking about carbine use, pistol use, and there's so much you can do. I mean, it just opens up a whole new door for training, especially for folks that can't get to the range all the time, you know. But this is better than just dry firing. You know, you
Yeah.
have your dry fire practice, now you have your airsoft practice, and then you have your live fire practice.
That's true.
So, speaking of live fire, One, we have, oh yes, we have our friends at Federal. Wanted to provide you with some ammunition, some 38 special.
38 special.
Each of you
plus
got 5
P.
boxes.
Since you don't like 38 specials, Dave, you give me all your ammo.
Well, there's a reason why you
me-
guys
let
have
me-
38.
Let me put it to you this way, Mike. No.
Just trying to help you out, man. I don't want you to clutter up your garage with that
I
stuff.
still happen to have 38 specials.
Oh, man.
You admit that, huh?
Well, I mean, those gun with the round things in them, they're still useful.
No. Well, I wouldn't stand in front of one.
Yeah.
You know.
These all the same?
Yes.
This is 130 grand.
I'm going to tell you something. Federal makes exceptional ammunition.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, well, they've got,
Personal defense.
Their American Eagle training ammunition is super accurate.
Yes.
is there a,
Sawtooth bullets.
That's what it looks like. It's actually they're deep penetrating personal defense rounds, which is a more of a newer generation of their personal defense.
Is
rounds.
this intended for like a snub or is it a general use round?
This is a plus P round, so you can use it as long as your snubby is rated for plus P.
Okay.
But to me, this is what I would want to run in a snub nose revolver.
Okay.
If I didn't have my quick shock, which I still have some left,
Holy
I
cow.
would be running this.
Interesting.
Something else that goes hand in hand with ammo is, when we talked about this earlier, optics. Our friends over at C&H Precision,
oh, wow.
A pistol optic.
imagine that.
And whose brand is this?
C&H Precision. They're
I have
producing
heard,
these now.
I have no experience, but I've heard very good things about them.
I first started working with them when they started doing the pistol mounts, the actual adapter plate that goes on the pistol for the
Yeah.
optic. Now they're making optics. So they make some really good stuff. Some other stuff that goes with this ammo, our friends over at HKS, speed loaders.
Oh, I remember those. I went through the academy. I wasn't allowed to have them.
No, me
No,
either.
well,
You had to load from dump pouches.
these mere peons.
Yeah.
And this is for a,
There's 3 different models.
Are they still in Kentucky?
Yes, yes
they?
they are.
this is for a Ruger.
Let me see. We have
Or
one of
a,
them. We got one of
Smith.
them.
See now, 40 years from now, or 30 years from now, when we do this again, we'll have all different kinds of goodies on the table.
Yeah, we just have to live that long. Huh?
You might even have the urn with our ashes in it on the table.
Remember using dump pouches and then trying to get them things the right way in your hand without dropping them
that's
on
what
the
they call
ground.
them, dump pouches. They dumped it all over the ground.
Dumped them on the ground is what it did. Yeah.
To go with ammo, optics, speed loaders, you needed holsters. So our friends over at UM Tactical wanted to make sure you guys had
Holy smokes!
a revolver model and one for a Glock 19. But then with all that, our title sponsor, Taurus, wanted to make sure you had something to play with too. And
Ooh.
what you have here is a 3-inch stainless steel 856 Toro revolver.
I can
Oh,
see
this
my
is the
wife
one that's
running
set
off
up
with
for
this
the
already.
optic. Oh, okay.
This is the first Taurus I've ever owned.
Bigot.
Well played, Moss. Well
Look
played.
at that.
Wow,
Hey,
that's
wait a minute, this has a
nice little
hammer on it.
setup.
What's that?
What do you think?
I have a Dremel.
I think I'm going to
Take it
shoot
off
this.
I think I will, yeah. And they invite you to plunk optics on it.
Yes.
Will you make sure you tell Taurus how appreciative we are of this?
Yes.
We
Of all of this.
definitely will.
This is just terrific.
Very, very kind of them.
They were the first revolver company to actually come up with a revolver from the factory ready for an optic.
That what?
They were the first revolver company to actually come out with a revolver from the factory for an optic.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen anyone do it like this.
I like their slogan.
Always bring it.
When what Matt said earlier, you know, it helps
Bring it.
if you have a gun, because when you don't, all the other discussion is highly irrelevant.
So this is just our way and the sponsor's way of saying thank you
Well, thank you.
for taking
Thank
the time.
you very much.
This is
to
very
get
kind.
Quite
together.
unexpected. Thank you.
And one thing that, when I was preparing to do this video, I wanted to talk about the people we've lost over the years, not just in this year, last year, but in general. And I started working on a list. We've lost a lot of people. Many friends, many colleagues. And what I'd like to do right now is list on the screen all the people we've lost and just honor them for helping us get where we are today, because people like Jeff Cooper and Pat Rogers and Louis Auerbach and many, many others that we've lost along the way, that we were all, many of us, friends with,
Yes.
good friends in many instances. So now this is our memoriam part for us to share with the viewers who we've lost. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you again for coming out.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, I am honored to be here with my colleagues.
It was fun. We could have done this for
Days?
days.
Days.
We could honestly.
We're just
there's
getting
still-
warmed up.
Really, there's still so much we can cover. And I like to think that in the very, very near future, I think we should do this again, because there's still so much for us to talk about.
I wished we would have done it even 5 years ago, when some of those fellas that was on that roster just now could have been here.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
One of the biggest reasons I came, and I don't want to be morbid, but you never know when you're going to get to spend time with each other again.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. And for years, it's always been, we see each other at SHOT Show. And that's just one time a year, you know?
Yeah.
Or a good example, I haven't seen you in years now, from the last time we filmed an instructional video. Haven't seen you in a while since we last filmed an instructional video. And last time I filmed with Moss, we were still filming in Florida many moons ago. So, gentlemen, thank you for coming out. We're going to do this again. That I promise. As long as you guys are willing to come out and take the abuse one more
Count me
time.
in.
Thanks for having us.
And let's see how this goes, see what people think of it. But I don't care what they think of it. We had to have this stuff said, and I think it was important for us to talk about. So, cheers to
Cheers.
to the ones we've lost, and to the years we've had together, and hopefully some more years to
And
come.
many more to go.
Well, that is the goal, right?
I'm just getting started. I plan on continuing to do this as long as I can, and perhaps help our students avoid at least some of the mistakes that we made. And it is my honor to stand on the shoulder of the giants of the past, like Jeff Cooper and Ray Chapman and Charlie Askins, many others. And it is, I'm very honored to be in this position. I'm hoping that we, particularly in this video series, can influence the next generation. We brought the art this far. Now it's up to you.